everyone, welcome to another exciting edition of Mamdi's Lounge.
Mamdi's Lounge Season 2 is here, and it keeps getting bigger and better. Our conversations are spicy with guests that give in-depth insights to every topic. It's Mamdi's Lounge, your one-stop shop for great conversations.
We know that when there are crises, women are usually the first responders. They come to the community, they help out.
The bride price is not looked at as placing a value on the woman. It's looked as a commitment.
So I think it is something we should look at. It's endemic in our society. And for us to address it, it's going to take a national call.
Every Thursday, 8 p.m. on AYB TV, Channel 33.
Hello and welcome to Mamdi's Lounge. Today we are coming to you from the new Alexis Beach Bar out here at Aberdeen, very close to the sea, where we have fishermen doing their business, and we are here in the lounge having this all-important conversation. Today we are looking at parenting, the old versus new school. Bringing up children today is something many parents find daunting, especially when their children refer to them as old school. For many parents, finding the balance is difficult. Some choose to go old school and borrow from how their parents raised them. For others, times have changed and they feel there's a need to move with times. We look at the clash in parenting, old school versus new school. How do parents of today make the rules in parenting? This is Mamdi's Lounge. We'll be right back after this break.
With MP, your safety comes first. In case of an emergency gas fire from our gas cans, 1. Use your finger to block the knob opening of your gas can. 2. Use a wet cloth and put it over the flame and the knob. Or 3. Wrap the tank with the wet towel and the flames will go out. Take a rubber bucket and cover the tank. At MP, your safety is our paramount concern.
Na the EcoBank microfinance, we don't find easy way for you picking them better one to marabambai. We don't find way for put money inside you small business them, no matter how small the business be. EcoBank microfinance, they're also glad for make your business grow. In not Tapado, we ready for give you all the financial support for make you team up Tranga one. So now for come with we on this new journey, we say all you dream then will come true. So now for just come, now the EcoBank microfinance office, also you go learn how for open up savings and current accounts for you picking them. Get money for your small business them and send money na 33 countries inside Africa and also open up savings and current account. Visit we now any of them branches soon. Begin and end your day with Glady EcoBank microfinance with the help you small business them for team up Tranga one.
The Asma James Foundation improves the lives of girls from marginalized backgrounds by giving them access to reproductive health education, scholarships, mentoring, and life skills training. We also use the media to advocate for policies that positively impact women and girls across Sierra Leone. Asma James Foundation, providing adolescent reproductive health education and services to girls in Sierra Leone.
All right, welcome back. In case you're just joining us, you are tuned to Mamdi's Lounge, and today we are coming to you from the new Alexis Beach Bar at Aberdeen. In the lounge today, I have my usual lounge members. John Conte is right here with us in the lounge, and of course, Hannah Fuller. I have two lovely ladies as in tonight's program. I have on my left, Jene Amara Bangali.
Hello.
Welcome to the lounge, Jene.
Thank you.
I also have Lydia Jolie.
Thank you.
Lovely outfit, Lydia. What's this?
Today she's representing South Africa. We're trying to match the old school and the new school. That's the idea.
All right, thank you, Lydia, for being part of the show. Lydia has been in the lounge before, and she's here yet again. It's an absolute pleasure to have you always in the lounge, Lydia. All right, today, like I mentioned, we're looking at parenting, old school versus new school. Now, guys, parenting? I'll start with my guests. Old school versus new school parenting.
Well, for me, I am an old school kind of person because obviously I am an older parent. So I'm looking at parenting from the perspective of the way I was brought up. So I'm trying to instill all those growing up measures into the life of my daughter, which of course she calls me old school in every single way, the way I dance, the music I listen to, everything for her is old school. But then on the other hand, I have to realize that she is a child of the present day and age, and things have evolved and changed. So I believe 100% in my old school upbringing. It has brought me this far. It's made me who I am. And if she has some of that in her, plus the new school, I guess, it would make her a better person. So,
yeah. All right. Thank you, Lydia.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, I would like to look at myself as in between parents, kind of, or I use the old and the new, like Jenny just mentioned, and I carry the positive, obviously, from my upbringing, which there is quite a few that has made me also who I am today, and I leave the negative, and then also look into the new school, take the good, and then also try to work on what is not so good and make the kids understand why this and that cannot be done at the age, obviously, where they are. So I look at both and try to merge the two and see what the recipe will come up.
All right, Hannah, John.
Thank you, Mamdi. Well, I mean, most of us are generally old school. If you were born in the 70s, obviously, you're an old school. Because then you had, there was no integrated kind of communication where you have everything in one place. So for me, I think, that place where I want to have a blend and call that a hybrid version. Because growing up, you grew up into the next generation of the kids we have now. You grew up into technology, you grew up into all those things that would get you the exposure that you need before finally leaving your parents' house or thinking about what you really want to do with life. So I want to say, like Lydia mentioned, we're kind of like the hybrid version, and I have kids now. So imagine what you want to do with what you got from your parents growing up, and them being exposed to technology and everything that is high content as far as information is concerned now. So I'm more of a hybrid type.
Okay, John, hybrid. Okay, Hannah.
Wow. Maybe I would also be a mix. If I don't have a child, but I would imagine that if I had one of my own, I would want to draw from how I was raised to and adjust that quite a bit with the times that we live in. And that takes me to the fact that the age of civilization where we find ourselves living greatly impacts on the sort of parenting that goes on. Because I can imagine now, today it's kind of difficult for parents to say, don't carry a phone. You don't give your child a phone. Because we live in an age where kids want to. But we told you, Mamdi said it, that we're at Alexis.
So don't mind the sound. We're at Alexis.
Giving us the ambience.
Yeah.
We're at the seaside. Okay, so it's like your child now has to go to school, but you want to locate where they are and that sort of thing, and you just feel that they need a phone. But rewind to the 70s, the 80s.
Even the 90s.
There were no cell phones.
Yeah. Even the 90s.
But we lived and
survived.
Were able to track their kids. So I guess with the age of civilization, the developments and technology, all of that has an impact on the type of parenting that goes on.
I want to believe so. I mean, like Jenny mentioned, I am in between two, old versus new. I remember, my son used to say to me, like, for example, the music that I listen to, he will ask Mommy, what is it that you enjoy, in this particular song? But I also remember there was a time I was dancing to the electric slides, and he was like, okay, I like that. I said, so you see? So now come, let me teach you. So, I mean, but let's so I actually taught him how to do the slide, as young as he is. So old school versus, because there's things that happened, that we refer to now as old school that still applies, in the. So how do you guys balance the two? I mean, to the extent that you get the child grounded, and focused, and be respectful and all of that. So how do you balance the two?
Well, for me, for instance, with my daughter, she knows me 100%. She knows what I will tolerate, what I will not tolerate. And she has friends, and she'll say, if I dare do that, my mother will not have it. So it's the upbringing. It's how you keep your child grounded in the house. You tell her, this I will not take. Don't do this when we go out. Like, for instance, dancing. My child knows that when she goes out, there are dances that she should not dance at all. Once you go out and you see some kids do some dancing, and it's really heart-rending, it's really sad. As a parent, you do not encourage your child to gyrate, to move in those ways. At home, they can do it. They know all the dances, all the skills, but they do it and we'll all laugh and it's for fun. But you let them know. And before you go to every party, I remind you, on no condition do you. And she goes, and sometimes I go to parties to pick her up. She doesn't know I'm there, but I watch the behavior. And she does not do all those vulgar, as I call them, dances. So these are things that you have to make sure you know your kid to a certain extent. Because if someone should come and say, your kid is this, you go, yeah, okay, she's capable. She did that, you go, that's very doubtful. But then it's up to you as the parent to be there for your kid in as many ways as possible, actually. Because if you don't have the time to spend with your kid, to talk to your kid, then you're getting it all wrong. A lot of us are so preoccupied with our lives, our own expenses. All you do, you come, you give the money when she says, I want this, money, you give. And that's not about it. Your child needs to have a conversation with you. You need to have a conversation with your child. You need to know who your child is friends with. You need to know the parents of who your child is friends with. They don't need to be your friend or your best friends, but just know them and know the sort of people they are, so you know who your child is mixing with. Which can be good or bad.
You've made such an important point. I mean, letting your child know what is allowed and what is not allowed. Now you have parents who think that, okay, this is my only child, for example, and therefore I should leave him or her to do whatever they want. So to the extent that, it's, I don't know. So how do you, in cases like this, having an only child, like you and I, of course, and then letting the child do what they want, you understand? Does that tell you or the child, does that mean you love the child so much? That's why you're doing all of that?
No.
Because you have parents who cannot tell their child when they do anything wrong.
They're scared of their child.
They're scared,
They are scared of their child. They don't want to upset the child.
And you're scared,
They are parents who...
child such as
no, but they're in charge. They're in charge. They are totally in charge, in control.
I think Jenna made the point earlier. That's because you haven't established the guidelines. You haven't established the rules as to the do's and don'ts. I mean, if those basic rules are established, and you know that flouting any one of the don'ts would obviously attract a little bit of, we know as African parents, you give the person an earful or reprimand them in a way. They'll know that, I should not go beyond this point. Now, we parenting back then, it was difficult for some of us to walk up to our parents and tell them exactly how we feel or what we feel about
So
certain
this is
things.
where
Very
the old
true.
school and,
Yes,
and
yes.
new school comes in.
Yes,
Because
yes.
Jenna made her point there that you should have a conversation with your child. They should be able to talk to you. Some people say your child you should be their best
Friends,
friend.
yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. So if anything is happening, they're able to come up to you and talk. But really, it's kind of difficult. You know, with and old school parents find that difficult, especially certain topics about sex and things like that are kind of sensitive, or they feel it's almost taboo and they can't talk about those things. You know, so
We have this mist covering every topic as far as parenting is concerned. There are things you cannot talk about. Money, don't talk about it. Sex, you cannot. Going out, don't talk about it. So, no. So we had a lot of mist around everything we do. But like I said, with the hybrid version, you get to demystify that. You sit and talk.
Yeah.
Get to understand yourself. I mean, as you grow up, when you're between 8 and 10, 12, you're not had but then as you turn to your teens, you're beginning to ask questions. You're beginning to have conversations. But
So okay, let's quickly look at the advantages of both. You know, advantage of both parenting style, old versus new, because you mentioned quite a bit about how, you know, we grew up. I mean, there are certain things you dare not say. You'll be greeted with one slap or the other. You know, so
Eyes.
the non-verbal communication.
some of those things. Can we just reflect on some of those things that are old school, so that we just the rules, you know.
yes, there were.
things.
For me, as much as I am in between, but I think the old school version also helped shape all of us. To the point that some of these habits or some of these traits, we use them for our kids. Now, for example, you go somewhere, maybe you are hungry, you want to eat, you know, and you go to your mom and say, "Mama, how are you?" So she'll just look at you like straight in the eye without saying a word, and you know your place. You know, I mean, there are certain ways you just don't behave in a certain way when your parents are around. You know,
you were given the rules when you go out.
You were given the rules, but I mean, now we're looking at it. For me, I think those rules are still very, very valuable
But
because
there's
they
some
help.
things that are debatable too. Like some parents like going out. At what age do you allow your child to go out on their own? Old school, no going out at all. No going out.
You're grounded.
It's
You're
books,
perpetually
you do
grounded, right?
housework, you study, and that sort of thing. It's like the home is almost like a cage.
Because I mean,
It's true.
the first time I went out on a date, I took my whole road on the date because we were not allowed. One person was not allowed to go out. So I had to, I had to tell everyone, all the people on the road, all the younger, my age group, like, okay, I have a date, so we're all going to go for me to go. So everybody, I mean, they came to pick me up, and we all cramped inside, and the person was like, "What's happening?" And I was like, "I'm sorry, if they don't go, I don't go." So there were things, but obviously nowadays, my daughter, I mean, she's going to kill me for saying this. The other day she said, "Mom, I have a crush, my first crush." And I was like, "Are you serious?" Obviously I wanted to know, and I wanted to know more. I was like, "Come, let's have a chat, let's talk about this." You know, I was like, "So what's the person? Is the person on Instagram? Can you show me a picture?" I showed interest because if I started acting funny and stuff like that, then she has to start hiding things from me. And that's the last thing you want. You don't want them to hide things from you. You want them to be open.
I think for me, I would also, I think our generation is, as parents, we're going through a lot of challenges because we're really in between, most of us sitting here. And being a parent myself, a mother of 2 boys, I try to be truthful to myself, first of all, and I don't want to hide behind so many things to say the way we were raised, we're all good. I disagree with that. When people say, "Oh, school is the best," no, it's not. Okay, but at the same time, there are things that we should carry with us. Those manners where you say thank you, you say please, you see a grown-up standing, you sitting down, you stand up, you give them a chair. There are certain things that really for life. We just have to give them, pass them to our children and so on and so forth. But when we come to topics like conversation, for example, where we were not given a chance to talk, I don't agree with any parents who will carry something like that into their children's life and say, my mom, my dad never allowed me to complain or say anything, so therefore you should. I think that's wrong. So I think for us as parents in this modern life, what is very important is for us to find the balance between so that we do a good job at the end of the day, and then we get to raise these amazing kids for tomorrow.
Yeah, the thing is, you have parents who are new school, if I can call you that, but they just let their kids be. And it rubs off, wrongly on you, the parent, because when your kid goes to school or somewhere in public and misbehaves,
of course,
it just tells me, for example, that this child is not properly brought up. So as much as we love our children, we love our kids, we want the best for them, I think we should also as parents be able to look at them and say, hey, this is for me in my home. For example, my son, we have this rule. He's not here right now, but if you have to go somewhere, if you're invited to a function, you give me Notice.
Same here. A week's notice.
A week. Exactly. You don't come to me today and say, Mommy, I'm invited to a social. No, that's a no.
It won't work.
In fact, when it comes to probably something comes up as an emergency,
sure,
he will get the parents or somebody to call and say, hey, Mama, you are not able to do this. But for us, it's a rule.
Yeah.
And we have, when he wants to go out, I say, you're going out now at what time? You say, this time. I say, you should be back at this time. Not because I don't love him, but because I want to instill some sort of, responsibility, discipline in him. But you have kids nowadays. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
We have parents who grew up in the old school way, but because of all this rights thing, child right, my child should be, able to do this. It's our right. This is right. They are missing it to the point that we have bad kids in schools, in colleges. So as much as we want to be, like John said, hybrid parents, but we should also make sure as parents we do what is expected of us to help our kids.
And with setting the rule on events and when they want to go out, it's about helping them as well to start planning.
Yeah.
Because you are instilling the thought in them, you're instilling a special discipline in them to start planning ahead for events. So you don't just wake up one morning and say, Mommy, I want to go out, and then you haven't made plans to cater for certain things. So you tell me 1 week ahead of time, if Mommy has to make arrangement for someone else to come or to tag along with you, you're able to get all of that done. So it's about, again, helping them, to plan as well along the line.
All right, guys, I'll come back after this quick break. We're going for a break. This is Mamdi's Lounge coming to you from AYV Television. We'll be right back after this break.
With MP, your safety comes first. In case of an emergency gas fire, from our gas cans, 1. Use your finger to block the knob opening of your gas can. 2. Use a wet cloth and put it over the flame and the knob. Or 3. Wrap the tank with the wet towel and the flames will go out. Take a rubber bucket and cover the tank. At MP, your safety is our paramount concern.
Na the EcoBank microfinance, we don't find easy way for you picking them better one to Marabambai. We don't find way for put money inside you small business them, no matter how small the business be. EcoBank microfinance, they're also glad for make your business grow. In not Tapado, we ready for give you all the financial support for make you team up Tranga one. So now for come with we on this new journey, we say all you dream then will come true. So now for just come, now the EcoBank microfinance office, we say you go learn how for open up savings and current accounts for you picking them. Get money for you small business them and send money na 33 countries inside Africa and also open up savings and current account. Visit we now na any of them branches soon. Begin and end your day with Gladdy. EcoBank Microfinance with the help you small business them for team up Tiganga one.
Quality electrical products now in Sierra Leone. Looking for cables? Ask for Havels. Havels cables don't catch fire. Looking for lights? Ask for Havels. Havels lights come with 1-year warranty. Havels products available in all stores nationwide. Or ask at Insons, 52 Shaka Stevens Street, Freetown. Or online at www.insons.net.
The Asma James Foundation improves the lives of girls from marginalized backgrounds by giving them access to reproductive health education, scholarships, mentoring, and life skills training. We also use the media to advocate for policies that positively impact women and girls across Sierra Leone. Asma James Foundation, providing adolescent reproductive health education and services to girls in Sierra Leone.
All right, welcome back to Mamdi's Lounge. In case you're just joining us, this edition is coming to you from the new Alexis Beach Bar at Aberdeen. And today in the lounge, we're discussing parenting, old school versus new school. In the lounge, I have John Conte, Jene, Ama Bangali, Lydia Jolie, and Hannah Fuller, and they're all here to, be a part of this conversation. So, John, before we went on the break, you were talking about
getting discipline,
and
helping the kids plan. Yeah, that's the ambience, exactly where we are. All sorts. We get to hear things anyway. So, like you mentioned, with my father, he's very old school. Now, when we were growing up, if you want to have a new pair of shoes, you have to bring the old pair. You get to assess it to see exactly
if there's a need.
If there's a need, it was very old school. Yes. It was very old school. Growing up, and at some point I realized that what he was doing then was to help you manage the resources that you have.
Yeah, very true.
Anyway, otherwise you could have given us, go get as much as you want, but he said, listen, I have to know exactly what you've done with the previous one. So in other words, he was telling us, you have to be accountable.
Yes.
It's old school, old fashioned, but hey, you have to show him exactly that.
Sure. Yeah.
Even if you want to get new uniforms done, you would have to see exactly what you did with the ones for last school year. Last school year. So if they're in a condition where you could use them for a time, it would say we'll get you another pair. You have to use this in between the week to ensure that you balance the resources that you have manually.
So some people will say that in itself was okay. As much as your father wanted to drive home the message that you have to be more responsible, but these days some people will say to you that that's not done. I mean, why would you want to? I mean, it's your responsibility as a parent to provide for
that's what they will talk about. Yeah.
But I think for me, just getting from what John has explained and what we were saying earlier about trying to get the positive from, our childhood, bring it into the current parenting time. I think it's very important for us to take those kind of lessons, that particular one. I have another one where I always use with my kids, obviously. My younger one will always say, Mommy, please don't do that just because your dad used to do it to you, so you don't want me to go out and socialize. I say, well, my dad did it like me. I've never seen the life of any party up until I was like after 18, I think. My dad was a no. You stay inside. I mean, we're so many children. What are you looking for outside? You guys are enough. You can play among yourselves. And we grew up like that. But the good thing I like about, obviously that time I was thinking that, oh my goodness, why did God give me such a monster of a father? And I would sit in my room and I would cry and I would wish for him to just disappear. But at the end of the day, I tell my kids the stories, and I tell them, I say, you know what actually brought that into my life? It's a sense of self-discipline. Because when I grew up eventually, in my 20s, I was working, I had my own apartment. I was so disciplined to a point where I will go to work, and on weekends, I will buy pizza and sit and watch television where all my colleagues, I mean, I'm alone, no kids, no nothing. I'm in my 20s, I could be partying and doing whatever I want. But because it was not, you know, I was brought up in a way of being content, just you are okay. And I want to bring a little bit of that into my kids' life. So therefore, I do not accept, I'm not obliged to let you go to every single party, every single outing, just because you have to. So it's all about finding the balance, which is a big challenge for us as, you know, one foot in, one foot on the other side. But if you miss that, then you're going to have problems.
Hannah? Well, there's also, I want to look at the issue of the fact that you have a community that would help you raise your child, you know, and that's kind of old school. These days, a lot of parents do not like other people interfering in the upbringing of their kids. You know, if you see their child probably involved in something that's questionable, and maybe you see him, a boy, for example, and you have doubts, maybe you're thinking that, this one, he might be taking drugs, you know, and you decide to tell the parents, they probably like, what's your business, we don't ask you, you know, and that kind of thing. Whilst in those days, what I was told is that even your neighbor could see you somewhere and actually deal with you on behalf of your parents.
Yes, it's true.
You know?
It's happened to me. I remember I was young, and they used to have these like afternoon nightclubs, and we'll go to the nightclub, and my brother will come home, and he'll say to me, "You were in the nightclub yesterday." I was like, "Me, it wasn't me," but whoever saw me actually would tell me, "You should not be here. Go home." But then it was a normal thing for us to do. I wasn't doing anything bad. I was with my friends. I don't drink alcohol. I don't smoke. I don't do anything. We just go like for 2 hours and stuff like that. And, you know, you enjoy. But I knew I shouldn't have been there. But I did go. So, but then, you know, they will actually say, "You shouldn't be here. Don't ever come here again." But they will always caution you. And it was no big deal. We didn't. I mean, some parents are really, really bad. They will actually tell you off for telling them what you think, and instead of asking, what do you think I should do? How do you think I should approach this child because of what you've said to me? We have to learn to actually learn from each other. Because my child, some people think that their child is perfect, whilst the other one is the best.
That's the thing.
I'm sorry, no. Because your perfection might become imperfection at some stage. So, you know, you all work together as a team. We're all bringing up our kids, as Sierra Leonean kids, and they have to learn to care for each other, be there for each other. If you do not tell your child something about the next child, your child will never have any reason to say something negative about the next child.
That's true.
So you have to be the one who is there to say, listen, if your friend is not doing this, why don't you call her? Tell her that, listen, if you want to be my friend, you have to work harder in school so that we can all, you know, do things together. If you want, I'll help you study. I'll help you. But no, don't keep away. Go, don't encourage her. But, you know, sometimes they just need that kid. You don't know what the kid is going through. They need someone to just talk to, someone to care for them, someone to listen. So maybe your child is the one that would actually pull that kid away from what the kid is going through.
I've also seen that even in the school environment where, like what you said earlier about parents knowing your kids, you know, like same for me. If I'm called at school and they say this one did this one did that, and I'll know. Bad, good, I'll know that, you know what? yes, I know. I see it at home. This is what it does. This is how it behaves. I know, you know. So on what you were saying, you get some parents who would be so defensive, even as far as fighting, even with the teachers. You know what I mean? Yes, we don't have, all the teachers are not perfect. But at the end of the day, we need to trust them. We need to go to a certain level to know that these people are taking care of our children, you know. But the fact that you as a parent at home, you're already missing something. You're already missing the fact that you don't know your kid. You don't know how they behave.
Yeah.
So therefore they go and behave in this way at school, and it's a problem. Or your neighbor comes and tells you that, oh, I saw your kids in the midst of this other bad children, whatever. And it's a problem because you don't know who your kids is. So it goes back to that.
I hope parents out there are really benefiting from this conversation, because we really have parents. I wouldn't want to say bad parents, but parents who really contribute to make their kids bad kids. So I always say, when my boy was in preschool here, in fact, every single class, I make friends with the teacher. Every single class. So there was this teacher I had in class 3 or class 4 that had kids in the school. So one of the boys did something really bad, and he was over the moon, like explaining, "Mommy, you see that teacher that you always think is good? The kid did this and that and that." I said, "That's their business. I am friends with the teacher. There's nothing you will say that will discourage me from being friends with the teacher." You know how kids are. They always act smart, right?
Yeah.
But we have parents, like Hannah was saying. I remember there was a time, I had some not so good friends, when I was going to school. So they would tell us, "Oh, let's go to the beach. Let's go with this." We always leave school. Well, so one day, our class teacher caught us. We were going to the stadium. There was this inter-secondary school sports, and the teacher saw us. And then the other day, they came to class and was asking, "So those of you who were at the stadium yesterday, please stand up." I was there, sitting down, acting as if. And then eventually, of course, my group was there. Everybody stood up, and they didn't say a word to me. They would just stand up and just turn around and look at me. So eventually, I stood up. So we were suspended. Well, not suspended, actually. We were asked to go call our parents. So I had this very strict father. So of course, I didn't say anything to him. I went back to school and I met a lady. Say, "Mama, they say for me, my parents can at school." So, "Oh yeah, I'll go. No problem."
I've heard
Not even hurt me. It happened to me.
Yeah.
That woman gave me the beating of my life. When we went to school, he's speaking. I said in the room. I don't even know. Teacher, give me the cane. I was beaten, I was given the beating of my life.
Did you not confess and say, "You know,
I couldn't. I just I received some good lashing.
That's a great one.
But so that's the thing. How could I go home and say that to my mom or my father? I just took it in and say this I go be and it caused them. But those things happened in the past and nobody took offense. Like we're all saying, we have parents nowadays who you don't say anything wrong about their kids too. And I think some of the issues that we are facing as a community, as a country, with some of these bad kids, it's as a result of these behaviors.
The kids are angels.
Yeah.
But Hannah, what we benefited from was most of us had families where you had the mom would be at home. They had time for the kids when they come back from school.
Yeah.
They were not caught up in a whole lot of things. So when you come back home, the first person to take a look at your book will be Mama. She'll go through your book. She'll help you read. She'll help you study. She'll help you with your assignments.
That is if you had parents who were...
And a lot of us had
Yeah.
loads of people staying in
Exactly.
our houses.
Yeah.
So there was never that moment when you were kind of alone.
Yeah.
You had your cousins,
Your
uncles, your cousins, friends,
Exactly.
even. It was just this huge, massive family, and there's always that kind of family
Support,
environment
yes,
support.
yeah.
But now, believe you me, like my daughter, she's alone at home most of the time, and I realize that she wants to be with her friends, and she'll ask, "Please, can I go and see my friend? I'm alone, and you two are adults. I need to be with my friends. We need to." I end up playing with her. She come, "Can we play Accra today? Please, can you go and dress comfortably?" I'm like, "Why?" It's time to dance. She wants to dance. It's time to do, all these things. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't do all these things. So I'm really like, okay, I think you need to go to your friend, or you need to get your friends to come see you. So, and then you can't have it one way, which a lot of parents also do things one way. It's give and take with the kids' friendship.
Yeah.
You have to let your kid sometimes go. I'm not saying that it's good to have your kid go, but all the time. But you go. I go. You go, you do it that way, you alternate. And then there's that feeling of kind of unity and togetherness, and there's no form of superiority, you know. So it's good to have that. And it's encouraging for the friendship as well. It will grow. You don't have, I'm not best friends with any of my my friends' parents, but I do talk to them. I do call them from time to time if they want to do something, and they'll say, she's not going anywhere else. If it's not to you, she's not going. Do you know who's having a party? Mine is not going. And I'm like, okay, mine is not going either. So, you know, you have that communication going. You must be in touch. You must be strong when you come to your children and know that you are in charge of your child. Because when the child goes wrong, remember the husband is going to say it's your fault. And when the child comes out good, hey, it's his.
And one thing, Jenny, I'll just take your mind back to this. There was a particular time I met your daughter and her crew, was it like 7 other kids, and they were out having dinner at one of these restaurants on the beach. I was so shocked. I said, MJ, what are you doing here? Oh, I'm out with my friends. We're out for drinks and da. Then, you know, I was really impressed, you know, because I realized that, okay, maybe old school parenting would never allow their kids to go out like that, you know, on their own. I think the nanny was there, but she was in some corner, you know, but then they were having a conversation, looking at the menu, you know, putting the order in, and then obviously the lesson of managing money. You know, I think it was a very, very good way of passing on life skills to your children, you know, that you can enjoy life. It's not all about work. You need to socialize, you need to network for older people, you know, and know how to manage money as well. And that money should also be used to do fun things. And I kind of liked, you know, when I saw them.
We've got to realize that, I mean, things have changed. It's a whole new world at the moment. The trend is completely different. It's moving at an accelerated pace. You cannot say to the kids, slow down, stop. But you can have the signpost. You can have the guideposts.
Okay.
You can have the guidepost. When they are heading down a path, you can have the guidepost.
Sure.
Like Jenna was saying, you make suggestions. If your kid is saying, I'm alone, you know, that things, you could make suggestions. That's the things you could do together, like she did to Auntie Jenna. Say, low down small.
Yes.
I had the same experience with my kids. 5-year-old, she wanted to play. She had so much energy. We've been out for a football match. We came in. She wanted to run around. Listen, hold on. While she play, so I have things to think about. I cannot play. Endlessly. I cannot just be playing for the next 30 minutes. You enjoy. You have the energy. Go get your brother, play. Maybe think about a few things. You know, but I've given her enough time. You know, to play. Exactly. To have fun, to relax, to come to daddy, to have that confidence that I could play with my dad once he's around. That he has the energy to play with me. Now, we should also be able to, like I mentioned earlier, Anna, to help the kids understand that there is nothing like a wall in front of us that would keep them away from us, from asking us questions or talking to us about things that are crucial and integral to their life. It's important, very important. So when they tend to get to ask questions, ask you, Daddy, what is this? My 5-year-old would ask me when she sees a soldier, she would ask, Daddy, what is the soldier doing there? That's not soldier, man. What did they do? I have to take my time to explain. They say, policeman, and ask, Daddy, policeman, what did they do on the street? I never take me time. I explain to them. They ask you words, spell. So what they're trying to do is to build that conversation. They're starting a conversation. So if you get to listen to them, it makes it not easier, but it helps with breaking that myth around that daddy is a monster. No one gets to talk to daddy or to mommy. So
old school, that is what it was like. Exactly. I think the mothers were more accessible, you know, than fathers. Fathers were supposed to have a strict look on their faces, no smiles.
No, well, my case was the reverse. But anyway, we'll come back and continue with the conversation. We're going for a quick break. This is Mamdi's Lounge. We'll be right back after this break.
With MP, your safety comes first. In case of an emergency gas fire from our gas cans, 1. Use your finger to block the knob opening of your gas can. 2. Use a wet cloth and put it over the flame and the knob. Or 3. Wrap the tank with the wet towel and the flames will go out. Take a rubber bucket and cover the tank. At NP, your safety is our paramount concern.
Na the EcoBank microfinance, we don't find easy way for you picking them better one to Marabambai. We don't find way for put money inside you small business them, no matter how small the business be. EcoBank microfinance, they're also glad for make your business grow. In not though, we ready for give you all the financial support for make you team up Tranga one. So now for come with we on this new journey, we say all you dream then will come true. So now for just come, now the EcoBank microfinance office, also you go learn how for open up savings and current accounts for you picking them, get money for you small business them, and send money now 33 countries inside Africa and also open up savings and current accounts. Visit we now any of them branches soon. Begin and end your day with Gladdy EcoBank microfinance with the help you small business them for team up Tranga one.
Quality electrical products now in Sierra Leone. Looking for cables? Ask for Havels. Havels cables don't catch fire. Looking for lights? Ask for Havels. Havels lights come with 1-year warranty. Havels products available in all stores nationwide. Or ask at Insons, 52 Shaka Stevens Street, Freetown. Or online at www.insons.net.
The Asma James Foundation improves the lives of girls from marginalized backgrounds by giving them access to reproductive health education, scholarships, mentoring, and life skills training. We also use the media to advocate for policies that positively impact women and girls across Sierra Leone. Asma James Foundation, providing adolescent reproductive health education and services to girls in Sierra Leone.
All right, welcome back. This is Mamdi's Lounge. It's coming to you from AYV Television. Today we are at the new Alexis Beach Bar at Aberdeen. I want us to talk about the importance of having conversations with your kids. Why is it so important? You know, because you have some parents who would say, maybe picking up, we don't talk. I mean, I'm picking, which I want for pass on, knife for listen to. So why is it so important to be having conversations with your kids?
2 things. A, it builds their self-confidence. It also helps develop their self-esteem. Now, because if the kid comes to you with something he or she wants to say, and there's a particular way she's trying to express herself, oneself, you'd help the kid shape that conversation up. So you'd help develop, like I said, his confidence and esteem.
Is it with both kids? I mean, like male and female kids? I mean, Jenny, let's the importance of having conversations with your kids.
Well, I think it's very important, male or female.
Okay.
Because a lot of the times you realize that the boys tend to talk more to the mother, and the girls also to the mother, and the father is just there because his conversation area is very limited, because maybe he doesn't actually encourage them in that way.
Yes.
But they feel so much more comfortable with the mother, and the girls. It's very important for the girls to have that conversation with the mother, because the mother has been through so many things that makes her be a female, and your child is also, of course, a girl. And there are things that she wants to know, and you cannot lie. I remember I said something that was untrue to my daughter once, and after a while they had a party when the puberty party. They had that puberty party with Fatou Cissé, Dr. Fatou Cissé, and it was such a wonderful idea and concept that she came up with. And when she came out of the party, she said, "Mom, You lied to me about something. And I was like, what did I lie to you? I was like, oh, I don't even remember. I said, I'm sorry. Maybe I wasn't even thinking when I said it. You know, I had to cover up myself. But I know I was guilty of not telling her exactly the truth because I didn't know how to handle it because my mother never spoke to me. My mother never. The one conversation she had to me was like, don't go to a boy's house. Let the boy come to your house. Done. And that was it. Ever in my entire life. So she didn't talk to me about the birds and the bees and the boys.
They didn't have the skills of how to pass on certain lessons, especially those so-called taboo subjects. Yeah, but
I mean,
conversations is very.
It's very important because, for example, look, I mean, your kid, walked up to you and say, "Mommy, you lied to me." I mean, back then, who are you to tell your mom that she lied to you?
How dare you?
How dare you? Exactly. So, Lydia, I would like to hear from you. I mean, why is it so important to have conversations with your kids?
Yes, we were just talking about girl-child. And I have two boys, and I also think it's very, very important as well, because to me, I also look at the boys and I see, even in a society, this is one thing that I always bring up as a concern. There is a lot of girls this, girls that, girls this, girls that, which is great, honestly, because we found our girls being in that position where, they have been taken advantage of. Obviously, we need to really, invest a lot in that. But at the end of the day, we also need to do as much for our boys. Because at the end of the day, I look at that boy to become a husband to that lady tomorrow. So if I don't tell my boys how to treat a lady, how to respect a woman, because for me that just kills me. Especially, I think I spoke about this once again, where they say this mommy curse business. I'm very sensitive. I get very sensitive as a woman, as a mother. I think a woman is someone that, God, you just need to respect, whether she's your mother who gave birth to you or not. You see? So I also tend to have those conversations with my boys, and I say, you know what, I'm your mom, I'm a woman, and you're going to be somebody's husband tomorrow. This is what you should do. This is how you should say it. This is how you should behave. So those conversations are very important. We build up our boys for them to go and treat those girls the way they deserve to be treated tomorrow.
And bring up our boys. You should bring up your boy to be the husband you would like to marry. So
something like that.
So you now instill those values in him that you would, if he were, you would love him.
Yes.
So, and then you're preparing a better man for the women out there.
Yes.
So it comes back to
a lot of boys follow the traits of the father. A lot of fathers do not treat the mothers or their wives properly. Like treat them with love, with respect, with passion.
Yes.
And if your child, your son, sees you doing that, that's the same way he's going to treat whoever he ends up with. But when they don't see it, they don't know any better. They'll just treat you as if you're just there, you're trash. And the same way, and a girl also, when a girl sees a father treats the mother one kind of way, she thinks that that's the way that she should be treated by a man, which is wrong. And so it's important how we treat our spouses in front of our children. It's very important.
That's true.
It goes a long way.
And on what Lydia said, I think it's very important that we just spend some time on this. The cursing of women, it's the most common curse in our society. And honestly, I've gone to different countries, but I don't think I've heard that kind of curse as in Sierra Leone. In Sierra Leone, it's so popular amongst the men. It's the first thing that comes out of their mouth. And I'm wondering, do you people really respect your mothers? If you do, then don't curse any.
Or maybe it's also the upbringing. Honestly, because you have, it's also
some people don't even think of those words because they're not used to it.
So let's also come back to the issue of discipline. Discipline. It's very, very important, because if you have, one old guy cursing a woman, of course, tells me that guy is not disciplined, you know. So let's come back to the issue of discipline, because what I have observed, you know, these days, I mean, parents show so much love to their kids that they fail to instill discipline in some of these kids. And when they go out there, it shows, you know, by the way they behave, they talk and all of that. I know when we were growing up, the way we were being disciplined, we cannot try half of that these days. Because discipline back then means lots of
human rights,
you know, this soldier slaps, you know, starvation and all of that.
Slap your ears ring.
So let's talk about this issue of discipline. I mean, discipline, how do we as parents love and discipline our kids to the extent that when they grow up, we sit back and say, yes, that's my son, that's my daughter.
Well, as I was saying before, I do spank my daughter. I'm not embarrassed to say it.
Oh,
and, you know, when it's absolutely necessary. And she'll say to me, Mom, it's been a while since you spanked me, you know. And when I do it, I called her and I said, do you know why I did this? She said, yes, because you love me. And I'm like, the first time she said that to me, I was like, huh? Really? And she said, yes. She said, if you spare the rod, you spoil the child.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, oh, this is news to me, you know. But I was happy that she actually came up with that herself without me saying it to her, because I didn't mean to be mean to her. But it's just that when you're out of order, you pass that mark. You know, we're human beings. You know, you should not treat your parents in any manner. You have to be obedient. You have to, you'll not be a perfect child, no. But there are things you have to do and do them rightly. You know how things should work, but sometimes you think, no, I shouldn't. You know the rules and the regulations of the house, but you think you should go against it. So you as a parent, or as the parent, you have to put your feet down sometimes. And like the telephones. I'm sorry, take your kids' phones away. I took my daughter's phone away from her for 3 months. No television, no phones for 3 months. And not that she did something that was drastically bad, no. But it was just the mood I was in, and I said something, and I had to keep to my word. So I kept the phones, I kept to my... Yes.
So here's the reason, Jenny. When you say caning and that sort of thing in terms of discipline, for me, you could spare the rod, but do the punishment. Take away what he or she likes.
Values, yes, likes the most, yes.
And it
Ground them, do stuff like that.
No going out, no watching television, you know, and the message is passed on, you know, the lesson is there.
I think that's the most important thing, passing the message, because the, how do you call it, physical punishment, corporal punishment, it's needed, obviously. I mean, you know, we all went through that and whatever. But at the end of the day, it's about what is it that you want this child to carry for the rest of their lives. You know, it's about passing that message. Because eventually, they're going to be 18, 19. I don't think you still have that
energy,
you know, or they will just be sitting there and then you're just doing whatever you want to do with them. But then if you've missed that part where you actually have that one-on-one for him to understand that I've crossed the line, I shouldn't do this and that and whatever, then it's going to be something very difficult to resolve.
Yeah, I know we have parents also, you know, who think that's okay. My duty, we have a responsibility obviously as parents, I mean, you know, to be there for our kids, provide for them and all of that, but then there's a whole lot that needs to be done also as parents. But some parents are of the opinion that once I provide for them, once I give them what they want, that's all there is to it. You know, I cannot tell them what to do. So this is my kid, it's her right, it's his right. Because, you know, this right thing also keeps creeping in. To the point that some parents sort of go with the flow of this right thing, and then the child becomes a monster at the end of the day. So I think as parents also, we should also realize that it's not our, it's our responsibility to provide for our kids. But let us also be more involved. Like Jenna is saying, conversations with the kids. There's a lot you get to learn. My boys, when they were here, I sit with them every Saturday morning. You know, he had a friend that was staying with us, and this friend always said things to me about him in his presence. I encourage that. So tell me what you guys did this week that I need to know about. So these are things that you can encourage with your kids. They would sit down and then talk. but we are also very busy. If we continue with this busy business,
It's bad.
you know, this investment will make, because the kids are investments, right? We need to invest in it.
You need to spend time. If you go to PTA meetings, you hardly see any parents at PTA meetings, so they don't get to know what their kids are up to at school. You know, so it's all at the end of the day. It will all be a big news to them when they see their kids repeating a class or something's gone wrong and all that. No, it shouldn't be that way. You have to make sure your kid comes home from school every day, just the same way, mommy, you will ask husband, how was work today? Ask your child, how was school today? So what did you do? What subjects did you do? How did you fare on? Was there anything you didn't understand? Stuff like that. Have a conversation. You get to know. It's very important.
That's the thing. That's the thing. I mean, you know, I mean, I really like this conversation. I mean, we've been able to say our piece, you know, as far as parenting is concerned. And I hope, you know, we have parents out there who have been able to benefit from this conversation, because it's really very important for us to be more, if you are not, to be more involved with your kids, because these kids are investment. We can work all we want, save up all we want, but if your kid turns out to be somebody that you didn't expect, what's the point building a house where the kid will wake up one morning and sell it because he or she doesn't know the, you know? So these are some of the foundations. These are some of the things that happen that we see people, you know, misbehaving in their older age, and we expect them to do better than they are. So guys, we are rounding up now. Let me start with you, Hannah. What's that message that you want to leave with maybe a viewer or family watching us now?
For me, I think it's we need to just find a balance, because definitely not everything is bad about the olden days style or old school style of parenting, and not everything is good, you know. And at the same time, with all the privileges, all the advancement in technology that is around now, it makes life better. But then at the same time, it has its disadvantages, you know. And Jenna spoke of phones, you know. It's amazing what the wonderful world of the internet and phones has for young kids, good and bad, you know, that could harm them, that could help build them as well. And I think parents need to pay special attention to phones, television, music too, that their children watch and listen to. We didn't have much time to go into all of that, but I believe that, you know, sometime we might find time to talk about that, you know. All right, Lydia?
Yes, like we've just been saying all along, it's really about us as parents, mothers and fathers out there, taking our responsibility seriously. It's a responsibility, you know. We brought this kid on this earth, and we need to take care of them, not just financially, emotionally. You know, we need to be there. We need to build that relationship. We should be the first people in their lives that they call friends. You know, they can rely on us. They can trust
run
us.
To.
You know, if that relationship is not there and we're just busy running with our own lives, then there's something that we're not doing right.
Thank you. Jenny?
Yeah, well, what I'd like to say is that it would be a wonderful thing if parents would be more involved in the lives of their children, be it at home, at work, at school, whatever area. Always be curious to learn more about them, want to know more about them, be involved in what they're doing, be interested in what they're doing. Learn. You know, kids have skills. You can see your kid, and your kid is a budding artist. And you wouldn't even notice, because you don't have the time to even notice all that. You take it as rubbish. Oh, your old time, drawing. No. You will see that kid might have a talent. These are all the little things that when you have that extra time, you all sit down and chill together. Have family time together. Be there for each other. You know, be supportive of your child. If your child has a hobby, has a talent, help to improve that hobby, that talent in your child. Apart from schoolwork, maybe that's just on the side, but you don't know tomorrow. So you don't know what God has in store for that child. It might not be the school side, it might be the talent side, it might be the hobby side. So these are all things that as parents we have to be involved in every aspect, every area of our child's lives.
Thank you so much, Jenny. John?
Well, that's the from what's in general when you say that. For me, we don't really think about waiting for say at the end of that. You say live in the beginning world. If you live in the world, it's easy for able for understanding language and know exactly what you need for do to them. Second thing, be careful of what you say to them, because what you say to them, they sow the seed for what they will become in the future.
True.
My kids, because I'm involved in the world, in the morning I take them to school. If I'm not going to see them before they sleep in the evening, I go take them from school with the driver. So then they see me in the afternoon. If they never see me in the evening before they sleep, I always make sure so we go together, we say a prayer, and I say to them, I love you before they go to that. Continue for eternity. They ring in their mind constantly that daddy love me, not to just only in the word what they say to them, but even in the action. When I take them to school, as well, Mamdi, what I do is before then they can only motorcar, we always get something they say together. It's a statement of affirmation. We say, I am strong, I am bold, I'm beautiful. I'm the first and not the last.
Amen.
I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and not beneath. I'm a winner. I'm a champion through Christ Jesus.
Amen.
We say that every single day when I take them to school.
All right, so
it's a kind of affirmation.
From a daddy. I mean, this is very important. Waiting you, this a young daddy at that. You know, because on Monday, na for provide no more
Everything else left.
Every other thing, yes. If you can, they see you once a week, then on Sundays. Because every other day, you know, they for them. But anyway, so this has been a very great conversation. So me parting short will be parents. Let we know say that responsibility and God give you for look after picking them. And you know the responsibility goes beyond providing for them. You get for them in life. Be a part of what they do. Like how Jenny and John say. I mean, when I get for try for always make sure say me picking and my friend. Get that mommy and daughter relationship, son and papa relationship all the time. It's good for them, let they converse with picking them, talk to them, try to understand the issues the way they go through, and just be there for them all the time. It's good for provide for them, by the way, but also let we not lose sight of the fact say it's not all dandy, no more matter. There is more to it, because we have to see picking what we don't old and gray, we sit on a corner, we say, yes, that's my daughter, that's my son. But also picking, you busy, they spend money, you busy, they invest your time in other things, say they fend from picking in future. Well, you're not there or you don't old, you picking will come, what you don't invest in, it just sweep them, just like that. So it has been Mamdi's Lounge, today in the lounge I had Jenny Amara Bangali, of course Lydia, and of course my usual lounge members. Until next time when we come your way, it's been an absolute pleasure to be with you. Good night. Hello and welcome to another exciting edition of Mamdi's Lounge.
Mamdi's Lounge Season 2 is here, and it keeps getting bigger and better. Our conversations are spicy with guests that give in-depth insights to every topic. It's Mamdi's Lounge, your one-stop shop for great conversations.
We know that when there are crises, women are usually the first responders. They come to the community, they help out.
The bride price is not looked at as placing a value on the woman. It's looked as a commitment.
So I think it is something we should look at. It is endemic in our society. And for us to address it, it's going to take a national call.
Every Thursday, 8 p.m. on AYV TV, Channel 33.